maintain this kind of image of perfection, or does it start to shatter and look a bit more fragile?
Well, let's see where this matchup is going to go to. We have our pick and bans ready for our maps. And, well, a map, as it is, of course, a best-of-1 series. We don't have any overtimes here. In EU, we like to do it efficiently. Cafe Dostoevsky is our decider, and Villa was BDS's ban. Not surprising, at least looking, from my perspective, that BDS banned Villa, right? Technical maps does not... I don't know if you guys agree with me, and I'm really going to stir the pot here. I know some people might dislike this, but I really feel that despite the amount of talent that is on BDS, that the biggest weakness that I saw in that last Playday against Rogue on Oregon is that the depth of the map pool is not yet there. And for me, I would just give it more time until they're able to kind of scrim and prepare more on those maps that teams have gotten way more time and mileage on, until we really see them hitting that super team at every single event and Playday kind of level.
I mean, it's always worth playing to your strengths, and as you kind of mentioned, BDS, this is their most banned map so far in the EU League, it's Villa, that is. So it makes sense that they wouldn't want to go there, and I think Virtus.Pro kind of forced them to make that decision. But this is the map that Virtus.Pro have been to the most, so either they're sick of it by now, or they're feeling really strong on it because it's where they've been able to hone those skills, make those improvements, and hopefully for them, they'll be able to continue that on in this series.
Yeah, they've only seen BDS play on Cafe 3 times this year. The last time was when they broke the hearts of Fnatic on Valentine's Day at 6 Invitational 2020. They absolutely slapped them 7-0. And just a week prior, beat G2 on it quite comfortably as well. So it was kind of weird to see it disappear back behind the curtain for these boys and not see it for a while. I think they've been saving it for this game here. They want to make sure they're taking as many wins going forward as they can to hold on to that top spot, because Rogue are starting to claw at them now. They're only 2 points behind. You've got to bring out all the stops if you want to finish in first place.
You just had to bring up that Fnatic game, that Fnatic run in SI 2020, where they broke all the hearts until really everybody was left broken hearted.
BDS are just sat there like, oh, well done, APAC. You guys are doing really well today. Now under my foot like a cockroach. Stamp, stamp. Just like your dreams are done. So, yeah, it was brutal. That's all I can really say.
It really reminds me of that video that Demo made back then, where it's just EU being super disappointing and it's like a Hell's Kitchen kind of moment. It was absolutely hilarious. I highly recommend people check that out again. But yeah, we're close to being ready. So let's take a look at what people think about this matchup. Our social media poll is in.
Oh, ouch.
No golly, Miss Molly. 80% for BDS, 5% on a draw, 15% for Virtus.Pro. That's specifically before seeing what the map is, because nobody knows what it is, not even us, until we're ready and willing here on the desk. So kind of surprising if you ask me, but BDS are in #1 for very good reason. Let's be completely honest with ourselves here.
BDS have obviously been doing really well, and it makes sense that people expect so much out of them. But obviously in their last Playday, that's the one that they lost, and Virtus.Pro have had that VOD. They've been able to see the weaknesses that they've had, and there might be an in there for them.
So how do you see it,
It's only been Oregon though, right?
True.
The only map we've seen them trip up on so far has been Oregon, and that was with Rogue. You saw them on Twitter screaming about it, like, well done, Arkuth, our coach, our analyst, countered the living death out of them there. No one's got anything to go off. But Cafe, the last thing you saw was 5 months ago. There is no way you know anything about them on this map, and if the first 4 Playdays are anything to go by, I don't see how you beat them here.
Okay, so quick score. Come on, 2 seconds.
Score, 7-3, BDS.
I'll say 7-4 BDS.
All right, let's get over to our casters. Game #1 for this evening, and it's Dev and Hap, all yours.
Thank you, Milosh. We are ready to get into another great game, BDS and Virtus.Pro. It seems like our analysts are pretty well convinced that this is going to be a BDS game fairly handily. Hap, I don't know. I personally see Virtus.Pro definitely being a team that could at least give them a bit of a fight.
They could give a fight indeed, but this game has definitely shown that BDS can bleed given the proper preparation of the team. So let's see if maybe the coaches / analysts of VP were able to get some general ideas out of BDS and maybe give them an idea on how to play on Cafe, because as said, there's not that much VOD to be reviewed for this. So
I think this is a great point there, Hat, because the way that Rogue defeated BDS, the first team to take down BDS thus far in EUL, it was by counter-stratting, as mentioned on the desk. Oregon, BDS was hard counter-strat, and it worked so effectively for Rogue. But here we're talking about BDS going to Cafe, in which the last time they played this was in the 6 Open Cup, which is a French league against Penta. Now, they won that, but that was quite some time ago and in a bit of a lesser-known league. Aside from that, BDS haven't shown their strategies here, which I think gives them a significant advantage because Virtus.Pro aren't able to counter-strat them. And look, if you can't counter-strat BDS, what are you going to do against them?
Yeah, that is the thing, of course. Like, what are you going to be doing? You're going to be trying to outrun them, outgun them? Or are you, well, going to stick to your game plan? See if that might be enough to take down the Giants of BDS. Not the true Giants, because they are an A-back, but right now they are 2 points loose of everybody else in the EUL. And it was 5 until Rogue made a change into that, so at least they halted them a little bit. But I could just as well see BDS just go completely flawless from here on out and just win this entire online group stage.
Virtus.Pro are fighting from behind on the flip side of that, but looking at the bans from BDS, it is the Capitao and Wamai. Pretty staple stuff from them. They have banned Wamai in every single game in the last month and a half, I think. Just looking back at their previous things, not counting things like a Tachanka ban in the Open Clash. I don't really count that one. And Capitao's also been a pretty consistent feature. Of course, we don't have many stats on Cafe itself because this is not a map that we've seen from BDS very much. But the Capitao kind of goes hand in hand with that Wamai ban due to the interaction where Wamai catches Capitao's magnets. And if you're banning Wamai, you don't really have an effective counter to Capitao. Now, on the flip side of that, Thatcher and Valkyrie are two of the most popular bans these days. Thatcher really enabling those ADSs to be protected, and wall denial operators like Mute, and even drone denial operators like Mozzie. It's so difficult to counter them without the Thatcher on the board. And with Echo banned league-wide, banning Valkyrie means that you don't have any Valkyrie camps, you don't have any Yokai drones to look for, and you can afford not putting an IQ into your team composition. And on the defensive side, there are alternative methods of information gathering will have to be utilized. For example, WTG on the pulse here. So that'll change the environment a little bit, but overall nothing too surprising for either team here.
Yeah, definitely like that Valkyrie ban together with the default Echo ban. It allows the attackers to be a lot more flexible in their lineup, right? So that's something a lot of people have pointed out so far, that we do not see the same 5 operators every single round for every single site. Something that could be the case in previous seasons. So that's a fun thing. It's good for viewership and it's good for counter-stretching as well, of course, as you can literally adapt to whatever is being brought just by bringing the required operator. But talking about these kind of bans, Flash ready to go down indeed, and the mission to take a lot of damage right there for Lambs. Very long angle being watched. I'm uncertain though how they get caught off like that.
I really like that early aggression there from BDS. Now, it wasn't super aggro, it wasn't super risky. You just take that ACOG out that VIP window and do what you can. Now, Rask is going to fight back and actually finish off Elems. That's a lot of flank watch utility gone from the Nomad, as well as some util to burn those ADSs in the flashbangs he would have kept in the pocket. So BDS started strong, but Virtus.Pro said, look, we're not just going to sit here and take it. We're going to fight back. I really like that aggression there. It's going to put BDS on the back foot.
Now you have to respond to aggression with even more aggression, because otherwise you're not going to be able to hold on very long, knowing how effective these players are, like Playday, Rafal, and Shaiko. Just so effective. As soon as you're stuck on site, they'll just clean you up like there is no tomorrow. And Rafal right here will be spotting out the pest, asking for some support of his team so he can continue droning. Right now, there's going to be 95 seconds left on the clock. Pre-play C4 right here from WTG them. Oh, actually 2 pre-play C4. So he's just scanning in between right here, hoping that one of the players will walk in. It's actually a very smart play coming down right here from Virtus.Pro dev.
That said, the C4 has not landed as of yet. WTG trying to get that info. Second C4 comes out, and also an air ball there. Renshiro going to feel much safer. You'll notice he's walking around the white bits of the floor there. Now that is the concrete or the marble, which means it is indestructible, and he is not vulnerable to C4s there. So I like that from Renshiro, being very cautious of that. Now we'll see BDS start to engage this vertical play to flush out these players from Virtus.Pro on the bomb side. Of course, BDS at a numbers disadvantage. Great job here from Shaiko to push up forward and take that VIP shield out. But Pasha says, you can take out my shield, I'm going to take your life for it. And that's just furthering the man advantage here for Virtus.Pro.
I mean, don't think he was aware of the fact that it was a shotgun playing there. He was still trying to cut the pie, but got shut down doing so. Right now, BDS find himself in a 2-man disadvantage in the last 30 seconds where their execute needs to happen. It looks like a drop through the hatch will be the case. Shockwave will be taken down by Rafal to start things off, but is it going to be enough for BDS to actually get the plan down? You see, VP is very passive here right now. They know that time is running out soon. They know they have to get in these positions to get that plan down, and all they need to do is just hold this angle. But Playday just walks in, gets the headshot, gets the plan down now. 4 seconds of the clock. That's how much time they have to try and stall. In the meantime, Rafal will be able to protect the back. It's Renshiro from above, and somehow BDS still managed to take the round. It were 3-5 when the execute started, but they surgically executed it.
Crazy to think that at such a numbers disadvantage for BDS there, they hadn't found any picks onto the defenders. 3 versus 4 with 23 seconds left on the clock, and we saw players start to drop through freezer. Rafal there in particular, a hugely impactful player, not only to drop down the hatch, but find 2 kills and support his teammate to get that diffuser down. A great opportunity there for BDS to salvage a round, and well, they took that with both hands. Virtus.Pro got to be surprised, scratching their heads, thinking what went wrong. We were at such an advantage, but now Virtus.Pro saying, okay, let's not dwell too much on the past. That's 1 round against us. Let's move up and take bar and cocktail as our second defense objective.
Dev, I'm a bit shocked because something, you know, that maybe went under our radar happened for the 2nd time in a row right now. Do you know what it is?
What is it, Hap?
I was just waiting for your response. Shaiko is not playing Hibana.
Ah, he's been promoted to the Ash.
He's been well, it's the promotion really, because he always preferred the Hibana. Like Playday is playing the Hibana. So is it maybe that they do not feel comfortable using a Termite on this map? That they want to have these 2 Heart Breachers because Termite is still available, and thus they put Shaiko on the Ash. Like, is that the strategy here?
The way that Playday used his ex-Kairos in the last round was primarily on the garage wall to stop any aggression out through the garage hallway, and then secondarily to open up the hatch. But we actually are seeing 2 hard reaches because we've got the Maverick as well. And well, with that Japan, you kind of have to run the Maverick. So if anything, I see it as the Maverick replacing that Thermite there. And in tandem, the Maverick and the Hibana is more than enough hard breach for you. No point bringing the Thermite as well. And Shaiko, he plays in a bit more aggressive positions, and his soft breach or explosions from the breaching rounds of Ash are super useful. You'll notice he used them on the VIP deployable shield that VP had last round, and this round we've got Goya shields and the Evil Eyes from Maestro, so even more critical to have that utility. So I think it's quite important here and quite imperative for BDS to bring that Ash, and Shaiko is the best man for the job.
Yeah, definitely. You don't want to run that 3 hard breachers. You still want to have those explosions available to you to make sure you take out these shields that are being, well, brought consistently here by Virtus.Pro. So flashbangs going through as they try to take care of that shield. Not actually sure if they did. I heard another explosion to go out, but as the Evil Eye is just dealing with these drones. The shield indeed no, it's still there. Okay, so they still have the shield and they have some ADS charges left, so it's going to be a lot of utility they need to throw in there if they want to be able to take control of Pixel. So maybe Shaiko is just going to be deciding to go somewhere else. Like, maybe just go straight into Freezer if they open that one up. Oh. Well, that's a C4. Plan of Shaiko not going through, Dev.
And that's some critical utility lost there, and Rask to find Renshiro as well means that the amount of explosives left to deal with this shield are running out. Just Rafal here with the lone grenade, gonna try and toss it on over. Can they finally dislodge Rask? Indeed they can, but they don't secure that kill, which means once again, BDS are fighting from behind in a numbers disadvantage, but we've seen them come back from this before. 3 versus 4 is a damn sight near better than 3 versus 5 from last round, and 45 seconds here to execute. This is not Kitchen, this is Bar, a very different situation, and VP still had that vertical pressure from WTG down below. Look at the health on these VP players. BDS just need to ramp up. Rafal went huge last round, needs to step it up here as well.
Yeah, WTG still here on these white stairs, making sure someone is not going to be able to come through. Beautiful shot there, Rafal with the double tap into Shockwave. Will be taking down that Maestro. That's also partially the stall, taking off the board, and the Zalems now will be flanking, running in actually, or repelling in, I must say. It's Rast that runs in and gets that kill. Will be shutting him down, and it's then the closeout of Virtus.Pro. Both Pasha and Rask will be able to pick up 1 kill each, and it will make sure that no plans happens this time. It's Virtus.Pro to draw things up.
Very nice lockout there, and VP got the ball rolling once again. That's 2 rounds in a row they found that opening pick. This time it was Pasha with the C4, lobbed on over from inside Freezer, I believe, and took out Shaiko, who was pushing Piano, trying to clear out that player at the shield at Pixel. And Rask, he did a lot of damage there. Not only did he find a pick, but he managed to delay so much time. By the time BDS eventually destroyed his shield, they weren't able to confirm that kill, which meant Rask was able to fall back and play from washrooms, and then later on Cocktail as well. BDS just really struggled there to find that control that they needed, and fighting from a numbers disadvantage was very difficult as well. Despite some good early util clear from BDS, they destroyed that Evil Eye in bar that we saw, getting lots of info and destroying quite a few drones. We saw them get rid of that with half the round remaining. And also some good util used even earlier than that to get rid of the Vulcan shield from Goyo in the freezer. Following on from that, there just wasn't quite enough for BDS to get a grip and start taking that control. And I've got to say, a lot of that for me does hinge on that pixel presence from Rask. Super impactful. We saw him get that kill onto Renshiro as well, further that man advantage, and very difficult there for BDS to claw back.
Pixel is such a key position on top 4. Like, it basically allows you to contest and challenge Piano throughout the entire round. And if you put up 2 of those ADSs there and there's not going to be a Thatcher available, well, you're going to have to toss in 6 throwables before you're finally able to get rid of that shield. That's exactly what happened there. So much time and utility wasted that BDS... Oh, did they just electrify that?
That was a perfect counter-strat right there, between rounds. VP knows in the very first round, Brede uses Xcaris to open up the garage wall. I mentioned it earlier. This time around, WTG waits for the Xcaris to hit and then throws the Electroclaw on, ensuring that he would destroy that first set of Xcaris. Now he can do the same here on the hatch when eventually BDS does decide to take it. But Brede now, after using his second set of Xcaris on that wall, means that he only has 1 remaining for that hatch. And if WTG is able to trick that set as well, then, well, BDS will have no way of dropping into the bomb site like they did last round. That's potentially very impactful for WTG. We'll see how it affects the late round.
I was super confused as I was like, wait, where? Like, Kaid was all the way on the other side because he just tossed it in from long, like very long angle right there. Managed to get it just in time, and well, that means, you just said, only 1 set of Xcaris left right now onto that Hibana of Brede. And the last Electric Claw already has been used on to that hatch, meaning they need to throw in a grenade dev if they want to be able to get rid of that one. Open it from above with that sledge, toss in that grenade, then use that Xcaris. There is nothing left after that to try and deny. That's a C4, perfectly countered by Renshiro, as you said before. Standing on the concrete right here, making sure his life stays safe. And as he baited out 1, there's still going to be another to be tossed up right here. It's being guided by the Pulse, most likely. No, actually, Pulse not even on the board, so it's unguided C4s to go through, waiting for sound.
WTG jumped off that Pulse to bring the Kaid, which has already provided some value, but this vertical play being enacted, Rafale's actually going to, instead of destroying the Claw and then using the X-Kairos from Brede, he's going to try and just Maverick this hatch open. Once he gets 3 shards, it should be safe. Another C4 goes through, misses its target. Rafale, though, does open that hatch, so BDS have made a very good recovery here. 42 seconds left. BDS, they do have that first player die. Lems, once again, the first one to fall. Fighting from behind, though, BDS, we know that they can pull it back from these numbers disadvantages, and that's one way to start evening things up. Shaiko doesn't have any util to clear out VIP, but there's no shield. Pasha had such an impact from here last time. 20 seconds left.
But you gotta keep in mind that both these players right here, Emission and WTG on the bar, are still not inside, and that means they have the opportunity to go for a retake. The grenade will drop in. There's some damage to Brede, but not enough for Shaiko. Yet again will fall to that shotgun. This time the angle is here by Rask picking it up. Rafale will get behind the bomb chassis though to go for the default plant spot as Renshiro tries to cover from above, but the time already runs out. It's Emission that will run in from the outside, jump over that little counter right there and get that kill secured. Meaning VP will pick up their second round, and I wanted to compliment BDS on how effective they were at baiting out these C4s, but they are basically too slow. It takes too long before they finally get into the execute, and well, they're forced to make these rush decisions, which end up with them being crossfired by VP, which is basically shut down. Like you see on Shaiko, second time there he died in a row, and there's no real adaptation coming in there from BDS to try and deal with that player with the shotgun there.
What's funny is once again BDS removed the deployable shield that was holding VIP where Pasha was playing, but despite that, BDS wasn't able to find that kill. There was a nice attempt at a pinch from BDS with Shaiko pushing down bottom white stairs and Alems on bottom brown stairs, but Alems was the first one to be picked thanks to a mission playing around the bar on that bottom floor. And Virtus.Pro, I've got to say, I really like the mid-round adaptations. They lost kitchen cooking, despite everything going fairly well until the last few seconds, but immediately they switch off the pulse, they switch onto the Kai, they start to drain away some of that hard breach util, and they start to read into where BDS like to push here. And on the attack, BDS aren't looking to fly. Now they're going to go and attack reading Fireplace, which historically has been such a good bomb site for the defense, and it'll really be a question of how can BDS deal with some of this util that Virtus.Pro is bringing to the table, particularly these mirror windows from Pasha, and how effectively they can clear the top floor before executing downstairs.
They'll have to get the top floor down pretty quickly, but there is an issue now. There is a mirror that has been deployed by Virtus.Pro, and that means that these, well, horizontal angles are going to be so much harder to contest. As they literally have that window looking at them, they can literally go for a pre-fire, which is 99% going to be able to land you a kill like that. Especially if you have a practice mirror player on it.
Man.
However, Shockwave start things off. It's Alems to fall yet again. Second time is the entry death. Not going to be able to use any of his air jabs, as he died before even entering that building. And that is going to be putting another worry in BDS's heads. Some roamers might appear. As Shaiko finds himself into mining, going into train, hoping to clear out some other people.
So near the bomb site, but that mirror window is not something we see every day. At mid, white stairs facing directly into the bomb site, and that disallows Shaiko from getting any more aggressive. He's going to drone up and see what the situation is like, and BDS, with his control horizontally, does put some pressure on Virtus.Pro, but Renshira to push up from bottom white stairs, he's going to carry under that mirror window perfectly, and he finds a pick while doing so. BDS seemingly bypassing cocktail presence right now, but with 1 minute 30, they're actually poised in a very strong position.
They're definitely in a strong position. They just have to be careful that they do not come down from these white stairs, as they just open up the mirror window as well. It's going to be able to be contested. Look at Rask right here, just sitting on top of this fencing, holding off onto these white stairs. If Renshira moves up here, he's guaranteed to be killed, because no one is going to be able to watch that angle as you try to, watch the next floor. You don't watch 2 floors up in a staircase like this, and as he is getting closer and closer, he gets off the angle at the moment that Renshiro is actually peeking at. Could have been a guaranteed kill to come in. There it is, the shoulder peek to come through. Is he aware? I don't think he is, but Shockwave manages to respond, goes aggressive now, takes him out. Grenade flies through, but it's not going to be enough as BDS suddenly find themselves on the 2 and 4 death.
It was such a good start for them as well, but ignoring that cocktail presence meant that there were so many options for VP. Now Rafale, diffuser in pocket. Bride does have X-Karos he could use on this wall. Looking to find a pick at the moment, and look at that, still plenty of blow torching to be done, but there's the flank from above. I'd love to see that from Pasha. He gets the injure, and now this puts Bride in such an awkward situation in the crossfire. Shockwave finds his 3rd on the rounds. Virtus.Pro stepping it up and taking the fight to BDS.
Well, let's say the defensive side of Cafe definitely seems to be suiting Virtus.Pro right here, as BDS so far managed to win 1 round, even though, well, many would argue they could have easily lost that one, as they were 2 men down and went for the execute with 30 seconds left. It was a pure gun skill that carried them through, but VP right now seeming warmed up, seeming to be able to put a good dent into BDS as well, and potentially take some points right here today.
VP took a bit of time to warm up in the league, but they've proven that they really can fight with the big boys. And I mean, coming into this season, I think we had such high expectations of Virtus.Pro because they took that European Open Championship. Now, not every team in that league did take it the most seriously. I know BDS banned Tachanka at one time. In fact, when they played in the quarterfinals, BDS actually banned Tachanka against Virtus.Pro. You know, that does give you an indication of perhaps BDS weren't taking it the most seriously, but Virtus.Pro clearly were, and they demonstrated some very strong performances. Just had a slow start in the EUL, lost to Empire, embarrassed 1-7, lost to Temper as well, who came to Challenger League, and we thought, okay, VP, clearly not what they're all cracked up to be, then victories over Chaos, Vitality, Secret coming into this game against BDS. It is when BDS are finally starting to bleed. Show some signs of mortality here in the European League after such a flawless run, obviously falling short to Rogue last week, and it seems like perhaps that honeymoon period in this EUL for BDS is over, and Virtus.Pro looking to capitalize upon that with some aggressive plays of their own.
Well, let's just say Breeday's looking a lot more human right now, and this would be the BDS that you'd normally see when everybody is just being average. Oh, goodbye, Shaiko. Just sent it to the roof and straight away sent back off again. If only a mission waited like a millisecond longer, they could have had a triple or quad kill even. That would have been such a huge thing right there. But again, Shaiko taken out. 115, definitely not anything like him. I don't want to say he's the Hibana, but he's definitely not feeling comfortable right now. His BDS as a whole not seeming to feel very comfortable onto this attack.
Love the aggressive play there from VP. Once again, just saying to BDS, we don't care that you've looked scary. We don't care that you've had 3 7-1 scorelines in your favor so far in the league. We're here to stand our grounds. Once again, that's every single round thus far. Virtus.Pro have found the opening pick. Shaiko, as you said, not quite having the impact that we would expect from him. And now Virtus.Pro, with that numbers advantage, can hold firm. With that Maestro on the board and the Vulcan shields. There you go, Rask once again having an impact from Pixel. It's going to be so difficult for BDS to clear out this util. They've got no more grenades on Rafale, 2 more grenades on Renshiro, but I don't think they have enough utility to burn through the ADSs and start clearing out. We've still got 2 Evil Eyes, 2 Vulcan shields, the deployable shield from the smoke at Pixel. This is looking to be an insurmountable task for BDS.
It's definitely going to be a hard task right here, and well, maybe the only way that you're going to be able to take control of that shield is actually just taking it by force and not caring so much about it. Maybe use it a bit in your own advantage right there as, well, the last grenade just has been tossed through by Renshiro. 50 seconds left, the shield has been taken out. WTG around the corner with a shotgun, and we all know how that can end if he goes aggressive right here. If he peeks out, he could be picking up a huge kill onto Renshiro. He's staying patient, he's staying calm, waiting for the moment to actually go in.
Oh,
and
yeah.
As he does, there was 2 people there, and Shiro has the response. It's the aggression not paying out eventually, but I like the idea. As the blowtorch goes off, we know he was weakened, and thus didn't expect the second person to be there most likely.
The C4 comes out, but misses. Now, BDS, maybe this is winnable. 3 versus 4, fighting from behind. Rafale and Shiro trying to make an entrance into the freezer. Rafale with the diffuser in pocket, but Pasha is such an aggressive position here. He can deny. Doesn't have that C4, but it might not matter. Alems is in an aggressive position at bar and mission below. Rafale going to force that diffuser down somehow. Pasha goes down. BDS have turned this around. It's a 2 versus 1, and the only player left for VP is Mission, who was downstairs. Insane for them to take that in a 3 versus 3 on site and get the kit down. All on a mission now. No C4. Having to take these 2 gunfights. Gets around the corner. Alems to deploy an air jab. This is becoming more and more difficult. Rounding it with the shotgun. That's a nice shot for Mute. Needs to find one more and get the defuse. Does he has the info? The shot through the wall. Alem with 5 HP, and he clutches the round. BDS claw it back.
He almost managed to get it right here with that shotgun, just pumping it. He actually got the down. Did you see that? He got the down onto the Nomad after that. If only he didn't take the damage there. If he was a bit quicker, that would have been the round right there for VP to come in. But I gotta blame that one a little bit on Pasha though. If he watched the right, he would have been able to shut down that diffuser. That would have been the round 1 as well. But he instead tried to go for the cover instead of the planter. And it's according to many people's rule number 1, go for the planter in such a close situation. And that's VP right now losing out on that round with BDS having an almost perfect take right there in these last dying seconds, knowing it's 3-on-3, knowing where to push through and what to cover.
Attackers need to locate and defuse as many
I do
bombs
want to
as they
credit
can.
the Nomad there, Alems. Now, we talked about him. He's been the opening death 3 rounds thus far and been almost ineffective every single time he's died early. Now, that time, it wasn't him who fell early victim. It was Shaiko, that aggressive play. But with Shaiko down, and who else? Renshiro went down. Now, Renshiro has actually been one of the highlight players. And with him out, with Shaiko out, it was up to the rest of BDS to step it up, and that they did. I know Breday has been a player that we've looked had to step it up. But this game, it's really been Rafal who I've looked at and said, man, that player has made an impact in these late rounds. That's the second attack that BDS has won, where by all rights they shouldn't have. And we notice the adaptation immediately come out from VP. Pasha roaming below. I think he's looking for drones. Alems does spot him out. He's likely to get taken out if he goes for this run out. Surely BDS are aware of it. Easy kill for Alems. Finally, BDS win the first engagement of the round for the first time on the map.
It only took them 6 rounds before they finally did. I was almost sure, though, he would be going for, like, a C4 toss again. You know, something similar he did last time around, but... well, he has been taken out now, and this is kind of not the room you want to give to BDS, because now they will be fighting with a man advantage from the start, and we all know how effective they can be when they do so. Even when they're a man behind, they still manage to get these rounds in, which should not go their way. And well, Dev, this could be ending up in a 3-3, even though we were at, what, 3-1 a second ago.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it surprised me a little bit to see BDS come back from in both of those rounds, because you mentioned the man advantage, man disadvantage. Both times BDS have won the round, it's been from a man disadvantage. Now, I was going to commend VP here and say, look, I like these adaptations that they've made between rounds. We saw early on, Amision was opening up a lot of the floor. Perfect, thank you, medics. Opening up that floor right where that plant went down. Ooh, those explosives missed that Goyo shield. I wonder if that hole in the floor actually had an impact there, but the drones from BDS do come out. So from VP, I like this setup. I like the adaptations. There's finally the lifeline to destroy the Goyo shield. But these adaptations from VP may well not be enough, as BDS are starting to read into them.
One breaching round just got picked up by an ADS. I'm not sure if they have 2 or 3 down. A grenade's going to be tossed in. That will take down the shield. As that means Pixel no longer going to be under control of Virtus.Pro. They will have to fall back just a little bit. And, well, Shockwave manages to respond to a Lems. Zestofia gone. Not sure how much utility he still had left in that lifeline, but it's all gone now. It's a perfect circle right there from the Maverick. Rafal. It's going to be functioning as the rotation between Piano and top red. And you see them trying to work right here. They want to open up these lines aside. They want to be able to challenge directly onto that back, onto east. Cocktail balcony. That is 40 seconds. Wow. They're moving in.
Here it is from Shaiko to get aggressive, spots out that player on the edge, but does not secure that kill. 4 versus 3. BDS have the numbers advantage, and WTG is going to get punished for that aggressive peek up through white. Now fighting from behind is Virtus.Pro. Not many options to deny this plant. Amision somehow is allowed to cross over. Cocktail, C4 comes out. Does not finish off Shaiko. Predator forced this plant down. Rask finds one. He's been a shining light for Virtus.Pro thus far, but now he has to clutch up with Amision. Looking to sneak up through the white hallway. And there you go, the Jaeger to go down. BDS starts strong. And the most convincing attack round that they won was the very final attack round of their half.
And this is why I was so worried about that entry frag actually going into the way of BDS. Like, as soon as that happened, they can play on these trades. Like, the game they're very good at, honestly. Like, as soon as they get that man advantage, BDS is almost unstoppable. And this round was a perfect example of that. And, like, Virtus.Pro, you were 3-1 up, and that was actually looking like a really decent half right there. But right now, BDS managed to fight it back to a 3-3. And that might actually be very worrying for Virtus.Pro right here. As BDS, they might be able to just, well, close it out on the defense here right now, because they have that favorite side of this map. And we all know what Playday can do on that smoke.
And I hate just talking about the big name players and the fraggers, but Shaiko's 1-6 right now. He has died every single round, and, like, admittedly, in that previous round just then, his aggressive position was very impactful. He did manage to push back the defense somewhat, but he didn't find a kill off of it. And when your best, in theory, best player on your team, maybe Playday would you know, have a go at me for calling Shaiko the best player on BDS these days. But when Shaiko is going 1-6, right, while playing an entry fragging role, and BDS still even the half 3-3. I mean, doesn't that scare you if you're an opponent? If Shaiko hasn't even woken up and BDS are coming back from these deficits, it's because other players on the team, players like Rafal, and Renshiro are stepping it up. I mean, looking at Playday, right, he's not been going nuts with kills or anything like that. He's planted 3 times, and those are the 3 rounds that BDS have won. Now, no doubt, Playday's utility has also been imperative at flushing out key positions. For example, the X-Kairos on the washrooms and the freezer in the last round. So yes, he's had an impact, but when Shaiko goes quiet, other players from BDS are happy to fill those shoes.
Yeah, and that is something we would be worrying about, like, beforehand, right? What if Shaiko and Playday are silent? Who's going to be picking up the slack right here? And, well, Renshiro and Rafal doing that perfectly. And Rafal, of course, he wants to prove that he's a super consistent player. He has that high cost. And yesterday, a bit of criticism coming out from Dez saying, well, how many of that was from just surviving, right? Like, he's showing up right now that if they need him to show up, he will be there. And he will be making these impact frags. So if Playday and Shaiko fail to hold the line, it's still 3 members left on BDS to do that for them.
Now we see this castle strategy to hold piano. Fairly common, fairly standard these days. I like the castle barricade on this west window, which I believe has already been dispatched with. Indeed, prevents those really long upside down rappel angles, which is exactly what Rask is going to jump on right now. But of course, bringing the sledge means it's very easy to counter that. And Nade goes through the drone hole as well, but Rafal gets out of dodge perfectly. The fact that ADS was burnt gave him that cue to get out of dodge, as a nade would likely follow. C4 goes out to take out any player lower red stairs, but there's no one who's dropped just yet for VP.
No one dropped indeed yet, as they have opened up that castle barricade right there into Cigar. That's allowing WTG to now go aggressive onto these red stairs. It's going to be the Candelas to move in. Shockwave to actually respond to Rafal, who was trying to rotate around into the new hatch, but got punished for it. And that means VP now have that man advantage right here. Are they going to be able to build off of it with a round? I'm not sure. They still have 1 Candela left. As 2 already have been used to try and clear out Cigar. There's some good information coming down onto Renshiro right here, but he will be reading into it, getting the drone, and going aggressive actually as a result, trying to hold them off here with the Super Shorty.
The Super Shorty is so good in those close range engagements. How does he get away with peeking like that? But as he had the shotty out, doesn't manage to do anything. Great job from Virtus.Pro in particular. A mission to expose these angles and flush the defenders further and further back. Time is ticking away, and this is where it becomes pivotal for BDS to have that late round plant denial. No C4s on the board means we're mostly looking at Playday. Now the Candela to come out as well. Rask has gone down. WTG, his final Candela rings through and doesn't find a kill. Doesn't have much control off of it. 15 seconds left, and VP, they may have the numbers, but it's looking very difficult to force this plant down. A smoke goes out. 2 smokes, in fact, and a mission looks to force this plant down. Starting to get it down. Shaiko not in a good position to deny it. In fact, he is. I didn't doubt him for a second. Surely Pasha now in a 1 versus 2. And he can't secure it. Shaiko there to hold the line from Cocktail to peek the player covering and then peek the bar, which had already been pre-opened by his team. Perfect stuff for BDS to continue this momentum developed on their attack. Now onto their defensive side.
I was a bit worried when that last Candela was used to pick up, your teammate instead of trying to go aggressive with it, as that would be an opportunity, of course, to force yourself into freezer, maybe get into that cocktail area. However, it's going to be Shaiko that was in the perfect position to, first of all, deny the cover that was being set up from Shockwave, and instantly after, fire some rounds through that bar, as he was in the actual perfect position to deal with it. Managing to pick up that kill, stop that diffuser plant, and, well, put us onto a 4-3 scoreline now. BDS have taken the lead the first time since round number 1.
So what's the next step here for Virtus.Pro? Because they're starting to look lost. And yes, admittedly, that was only the first attacking round that they have attempted, but despite maintaining that numbers advantage right until the end there, they didn't have the control that they necessarily needed, and BDS were allowed to roam free. Full control of the White hallway from the player at White Stairs. And Shaiko unaddressed over at Cocktail. Perhaps a smoke grenade would have helped to enable that plant. Perhaps if a mission had gone for a more unusual plant situation, hiding in smoke, he would have been able to pull it off. But for now, BDS have adapted to this Ying play from WTG, though it was fairly ineffectual. We do see the Warden come out from a lens, and we'll see if that's an impact late round. Now, I believe this, indeed, I believe that was droned out, that spawn peak, and there you go, the pre-fire comes out from a mission, so smart move from Shaiko not to get too greedy on that peak, and he'll stay alive for a bit longer.
Yeah, not repeating what Pasha did before, you know? Like, trying to go for that spawn pick, even though it had been droned out. They knew exactly where it was coming from. And instead of going aggressive, the Shaiko that went off of it managed to save his life as a result. And, well, he's more effective in the late round than he is in the early round dying, as you could clearly see the last time around, as he managed to pick up 3 kills, I believe, as the round ended. BDS right now are able to waste some time, as Virtus.Pro only just started droning the top floor. First minute has already passed, and Pasha will be the first one to set foot inside.
To support his teammates by droning a little for himself? Nope, you're just picking that one up for use later. Maybe he'll be a player to drone the site or to drone VIP control later in the round. Nice. Air jabs deployed as well on brown stairs and white stairs now to secure those flanks. We do see Shaiko teasing with the idea of flanking red here. Likely an air jab will be deployed to prevent that. Shockwave peeking it before he crosses the street. And there's the final air jab to go down. This is when we see the vertical play come out for Virtus.Pro. Now, BDS didn't manage to find a single kill through the floor on their attacks, but it's not always about frags through that floor, through that vertical play. Sometimes it's about positioning. WTG to spot out that Warden. He knows he's basically ineffectual here. His utility gets hard countered here by the Warden, so he might have to call one of his teammates to support.
Yeah, they might have to do so indeed, as the last minute is striking soon. Seems like VP is setting themselves up to go for the execute. You see WTG getting in with that drone, hoping to get some extra information there, but it's basically Warden playing there, but it doesn't really matter as Shaiko picks up that kill beautifully.
Wow.
That means the Ying is now gone. No Macandelas to be used. The Warden, of course, was picked to try and challenge him. They had the right ID. They knew where it was going to be coming from, but unfortunately will not be necessary now. As we're counting down from the last 35, it's going to be Shaiko that is trying to stall out, trying to get that little air jab right there. But first deals with some of DX Kairos. He's hoping to go for a little bit of a flank. He's going to get blasted out, though. No response coming in as of yet for Virtus.Pro in these last 20. Oh no, they're spotting out the feed. Pasha is aware. We'll be able to get that kill. Shaiko shut down. 16 seconds left. Smoke canisters deployed. Shockwave coming in from the site right here. A small bakery gets that shot into a Lambs, and well, we are counting down, but there's no presence near the site yet. A mission. He needs to go in and go for a plant. 4 seconds left. The diffuser is going to go down now. Is there a Maestro came in position? No, there's not. Rafal will be able to pick up one, but it's BDS that win it in the end. The smoke canister downed him. The knight that diffused to calm down, perfectly tossed, perfectly timed. Playday coming in clutch.
And you could see in the dire moments there, BDS desperately searching what plan style do we have. The C4 was tossed out a little bit early. I don't know whether the C4 destroyed the Evil Eye or whether that was dealt with separately by Virtus.Pro, but we saw on top of that, Rafal jumps on that Evil Eye. Last second is literally a player walking right in front of him on the enemy team, and he's trying to see, do we have an Evil Eye so I can deny the plan? So fortunately, Playday was there with the gas to force Virtus.Pro off that plant. For the most part, it was a decent attack from Virtus.Pro. They didn't have a lot of teeth on that bakery take, especially as WTG, who's currently on a donut, I might add, was taken out without having any real impact there on the Ying and BDS. They kept that pressure up. Now Virtus.Pro got a bit explosive at the end. They took out Shaiko, who attempted to flank, and it looked like they might have an opportunity to plant, but as we were saying, it's all about that plant denial in the last few seconds, and BDS had that in pocket. So many different options for them to deny that plant. Smoke, Evil Eye, C4s, and it was just enough by the end of it.
Definitely was just enough to end it up, and here you see Pasha able to pick up that kill right there, shutting down Shaiko. But of course, many more followed right after that, and he was so close for Virtus.Pro to get that plan down, but it's just one little factor they did not take into account yet. Playday only tossed 2 of his smoke canisters out to try and start the last 15. Had 1 in pocket to try and deny a plant to come down, and eventually it was the route for BDS to come in as Playday got that clutch true. He did Playday things, you know, using a smoke at the right time.
Yep, indeed. We are having a quick rehost, of course, as you probably saw in chat. A bit of a thing. It's happening. So we get a bit more time here, Hap, to break this down. Like, looking at this, right? We were talking about VP with 3-1 up. Well, now they're 5-3 down. 3-1 up, and then BDS goes and takes 4 rounds in a row, 2 on their attack, 2 on their defense. things have really started to slip for VP. And I mean, a little bit of time management there at the end on that attack. In fact, both attacks have been won by BDS denying the plant in the last few seconds there. Admittedly, on the bar attack, on top of that, BDS managed to kill all the players from VP. So what is a thing that VP needs to start turning on here on their attacks, because they've completely lost that momentum. They've hit a brick wall. Their Ying player, WTG, can't even find a frag, really struggling individually in this game. It seems like BDS is starting to walk all over them.
It's definitely starting to seem like that, but I want to first point out the first half, BDS won 2 rounds they should not have won, right? It should have been 5-1 for VP, to be brutally honest. But instead, they let BDS come back. It turned into a 3-3. Like, only the last attacking round of BDS was the one that they absolutely deserved to win, which they did. And after that, it was probably such a confidence boost to come in. I'm not sure what's happened with VP, but they definitely don't seem to be as comfortable on the attack as they were in the defense, especially those first 4 rounds.
Yeah, and for BDS right now, it's pretty impressive. We were talking about this earlier. Playday and Shaiko weren't quite stepping up on their attacking side. Consistently, Shaiko was picked early. Alems as well really struggled with that. And yet, BDS managed to come back in these 2v5s, 3v5s, 2v4s, whatever it was. And every time they won on their attack, they forced that plant down. Playday might not be on the scoreboard much, but he is getting that diffuser down. Now, flip things on their head. And VP are now really struggling on their own attacks. And on top of that, we're starting to see the players from BDS that we maybe wanted to see a bit more of an impact from in the first half are starting to come into their own. Shaiko there found the opening pick against WTG holding Bakery. And he was a consistent nuisance for Virtus.Pro to deal with, loitering around the red stairs and toying with the idea of that flank. Also, it wasted a few seconds at the start with Shaiko baiting out that spawn peek from the pillars window as well. So it seems like finally maybe Playday and Shaiko are starting to step back into it and have an impact. Playday essentially in those dire seconds, of course, to deny the plant as well. So Virtus.Pro, like, they already was kind of struggling in some ways on that first half, and now these secret trump card players from BDS have been activated. What are you going to do coming against that?
Not really sure what they can do right here, except for maybe being a bit more aggressive, a bit more quick in their pace. But I just quickly want to highlight that spawn peek of Shaiko. I mean, he didn't get a single kill out of it, right? But they knew he was there. They droned it out. It took about 10 seconds. They were just watching him with the drone. After that, it was a little bit of a pre-fire to come out and still watching the drone for like a solid 10 seconds after. So just that spawn peek, just punching in the window, staying there for like 5 seconds, it wasted a total of 25 to 30 seconds. Which they would have needed later on in the round, because you saw they started to actually get close to the side with 15 seconds left. That's the one where Playday tossed 2 of his smoke cannons, but still had like 1 back to cancel out the plant. And well, if you had those 30 extra seconds, you could have started earlier with trying to bait out that kind of utility, and maybe then they would have been able to get the actual round in.
I feel like Virtus.Pro is starting to give BDS a little bit too much respect. Not that BDS are not a team to be respected at all, of course. They're on top of the league right now. They're looking like the best team in Europe. But Virtus.Pro in that first half, it was some aggressive players that started to really work out, get themselves the early advantage, and surprise BDS, put them on the back foot. BDS are not a team used to having to deal with being confronted with these surprises and aggressive players. They're so structured, they're so regimented, and they're so ready for anything. But if you start shutting down players like Shaiko, if you start taking out some of their key droners like Alems, BDS do tend to fall apart, and that's what we saw in the first half when Virtus.Pro were on the defense with those aggressive peaks, that beautiful C4 up the red hatch early in the round. And I want to see a little bit of that on the attack as well. And admittedly, BDS's setups aren't always open to be exploited in these aggressive ways, but when you've got players like WTG who are on roles like the Ying, where you really need to be displacing enemy players and getting aggressive and taking those fights with the Candelas on the back, and then he's on the donut as well. Like, I'm not trying to say that kills are everything, but like, if you're playing the Ying, kills are something, right? You do have to be trying to get aggressive, or at least using your utility to enable the plant to go down. We haven't quite seen either of those things yet. The plant hasn't been successfully planted. The diffuser hasn't been successfully planted either of these attack rounds so far from VP. So I want to see a bit more aggression. I want to see a little bit less hesitation, and I think that that will definitely help them start to punish BDS a bit more.
Definitely so, and let's hope that we see that. But like, a good example of that Ying was in Cigar, where 2 of the Candelas were used, but still, WTG not following up on them, staying on the top of red stairs. It's kind of, you know, it's hard to get a kill out of that one, and it doesn't really feel that useful if you're using your Candelas like that. Also, later in the bakery, the round we just had, not even sure if he used any Candelas. He just tried to go straight for the actual contest with the players in that bakery, and instead got picked up himself. So, right now, BDS 5-3, Dev, and that means 2 points for the full win. One to get that 1-pointer out. That puts them onto 3 ahead of Rogue.
Locate and defuse as many bombs as they can.
Yes, and it does look like BDS are back in form after that little blip that was their attacking half. Back on the defense. I know a lot of people will say, well, defense is favored typically in Rainbow, and that's what we would expect. A lot of successful defense rounds. But remember here that while Mai has been banned, and he's a pivotal element of this util clear meta. Everyone calls it a 20-second meta. I prefer to call it the util clear meta, because I think that more accurately describes the way that teams on the attack are encouraged to play or required to play. Look at that from Shika. 2 ADSs. So that no one playing that mirror window is going to get grenaded. Love to see it. And this is the first time we're seeing reading and fireplace taken here by BDS. And, well, it was a bomb site that was successfully defended by Virtus.Pro. Oh, no bullets landed either way. Shika going for the same peak.
Again, wasting some time though. 20 seconds before the repel starts from these players, and well, you never know if that is going to be the 20 seconds VP might have needed later on. There's jump outs being held. Shockwave holding. Pasha right here onto the east window. You know, often when people are on these east windows, that either prompts a jump out or a C4 to be tossed out. As that is often how people like to respond. He's trying to shoot the canister right there through the wooden paneling of that window. He's not going to be able to get it. It's a thing on, for example, Consulate, where people used to be playing it inside the little break room towards the administration office. You could shoot it through the door from copy to break. So they might have tried it here as well. However, no joy, as it remained close. That's a good Ash charge actually coming through, taking down both ADSs and a shield.
And that's a very good use of the X-Kairos to dispatch with that mirror. Ross to follow it up with the grenade, and we saw those ADSs placed earlier, but I believe they've been dealt with, and there you go, Ross to open things up. Half the round is gone, and already Virtus.Pro have made so much progress, taking full cocktail control. Just that one player getting aggressive in Rafale at top white stairs, but Rask has been very effective here with his team to clear out this top floor, and Pasha to hold the flank here at the staircase. This is looking to be a much better round from VP.
It's definitely looking like a strong round of VP. They are on time. They are making ground quickly. Right now, the drones of Pasha to come in as well. Some verticals attempted to be challenged as Rafale goes quite low. He's playing on that smoke. Playday on that Goyo. Not really sure about that change to come through. The C4 will hit no one there as be a little bit of wasted utility. And right now, VP will have the opportunity to try and cut themselves down. The last 38 seconds on that clock.
You heard a player trying to go for an aggressive flank there. The air jab put a stop to that. These aggressive lines being taken by Playday. No more C4s for BDS, so he has to land the shot with the Vector. Rafale as well went all the way downstairs. He's been taken low, but he does have that single gas canister left. Rask and Pasha. Oh my god, Virtus.Pro to explode on, force that plant down, all up to a lens, shut down by the end of it. A huge round for Virtus.Pro, a momentum reset. They are back in the server.
Yeah, right after the rehost as well, instantly striking back right here and telling BDS it's not done yet. We still have some stuff up our sleeves and we're here to show it. And well, often when we go to reading room, the defense is actually a very tough bit to deal with. But if we were looking at VP, they were doing it with quite some ease, were they? Like, I didn't see them struggle at all.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't quite manage to catch what exactly happened around that mirror window to get rid of the mute jammer. I think that's the particular point. I'm assuming there was a mute jammer on that mirror window because the X-Kairos was able to just detonate on it for free, essentially. And with no mute jammer there, I also saw that there was an explosion that went off prior, which destroyed the ADSs, or maybe it was just the XKRS that destroyed that. So unfortunately, I missed that one. But I'm going to take a gamble, and I'm going to say that there was no mute jammer there placed by Alems. And that was really the thing that spelled death for that Cocktail hold. And Shiro, alongside with losing his position and losing that ground, also lost his life, which put Virtus.Pro in that numbers advantage. They had plenty of flank watch with both the Gridlock, which was swapped out previously for the Ying, and also that Nomad. We heard one of those detonated when BDS tried to get aggressive. And, well, Virtus.Pro had full control. Ooh, surely that's a drone for us. There you go, bullseye. And look, I can see Virtus.Pro getting back in this, but I don't know, to take the victory, 3 more rounds, that's going to be tough.
It's definitely going to be tough to get 3, especially 3 in a row right here as BDS. They are looking quite strong, and they're back on one of their favorite sites. And, well, VP, they need to be using that Ying a little bit more effectively if they want to be able to get around in here and drop things back up to 5-5. If they use that Ying the same way as they did before, then BDS is not going to be tearing a sweat about it. And it will just simply not be followed up. And that is something they really need to do here. VP, they need to run after those Candelas and try and get some frags out of them.
I like this. Shockwave on the rappel. And Pasha to watch for the flanks from Garage, from the White Window run out. And now Shockwave and Rask in tandem to rappel on Piano. This west side to clear out Renshiro, who's playing at Pixel. Effective use of the sledgehammer there. Alems, though, roaming downstairs, previously on the Vigil, now on that Mozzie. This WTG's drone is taken out from Rafale inside shop, fully protected thus far by this castle barricade. And no clearance of that as of yet. Ras to find that first kill, though, so that's much better this time around from Virtus.Pro, once again finding that opening kill.
Yeah, definitely. There's also potentially a C4 gone on the likes of Rafale, and also a player that has been, well, very important to BDS in these last couple of rounds. And with 1 minute 20 left, they will need to hold their ground steadily as BDS, because, well, soon it's going to be Virtus.Pro to move in. And keep in mind as well, not a single Candela has been used yet. I believe WTG is actually on the top of the skylight, able to just jump in there. No, he's not.
Good timing thus far for VP and Pasha on the roof. They seem very much set up to execute, gaining control piece by piece. The drones to come out. That Pixel is clear, but still... Okay, this is opening up onto the default plant spot, opening up into Freezer. Really nice stuff, but still this vertical presence from Alems, and he has that C4 in the pocket as well. That's the X factor, that potential for the plant denial. On top of that, Playday has 3 gas canisters left. He can effectively deny the default plant spot at the garbage bins and probably also at the bar. He might not even need to with Shaiko at Cocktail. Now 30 seconds left for VP, but they're going to have to take out some of these players. They can't just go for a passive plant with so much plant denial on the board for BDS.
Definitely so. BDS has a lot of plant denial on the board right here. Shaiko is going to be trying to go aggressive through the smoke as Playday picks up a beautiful headshot onto that planted. WTG right now right behind the bomb chassis, able to do some damage to Shaiko. He's going to be going for the chase right now. He's unaware where he actually is. Playday is going to be missing a Shaiko to pick up that kill. It's only up to Pasha now, but he needs to hurry up. No time left. Tries to go for a little bit of a pre-fire, but it's BDS to win out that round. But VP got so close, as Shaiko basically just danced with death right there and dropped down as soon as he got the kill. Not given a single opportunity to the Ash to actually pick him up and secure that round for Virtus.Pro.
Bit of a game of ring around the rosy there for Shaiko, holding on to Cocktail. He was the player to deny the plant on the previous defense of Bar and Cocktail. That was so pivotal, and this time around, I think Virtus.Pro very much knew that they didn't have the option to go for a passive plant. They had the utility for it, yes, with some smokes to deny those lines of sight, but going up against BDS, who have opened up that bar so that Shaiko can just peek from Cocktail to deny that position. They've got the C4 below in the hands of Alems on the Mozzie, and you've got Playday with 3 gas canisters still in pocket. It's just not possible to go for that passive plant and cover. You need to get aggressive, you need to execute and start taking down these players, and BDS was very much ready for that. We noticed that both players lost a lot of numbers, but importantly, Shaiko there at Cocktail to hold on for as long as possible. You mentioned it, he played ring around the rosy with WTG. and then he jumped back downstairs, so there was no opportunity for a refrag. And BDS now on match point. Virtus.Pro, we've seen one good attack from them. They'll need to replicate that onto kitchen and cooking here, and it doesn't look like BDS is giving them any openings.
No openings being given. Well, at least not so very late. And BDS right now into that kitchen. How are they going to be able to hold them off right here? Are they going to be able to just shut them down again? As VP went off of the Ying. It's not going to be used anymore. The Candela's clearly not really working out for them. Instead, bringing out that Yana. WTG not really finding his mark as of yet. Still on that donut. We'll be playing on that Yana to maybe get some extra information in. Functioning as a third rechargeable drone. Which could potentially help VP out just a little bit more, as he just doesn't seem to be able to find anybody as of yet. And also those frag grenades might be the gadget he needs to at least pick someone up.
Do you feel a little bit happy every time you see the Yana, the Dutch operator, in the game, Hap?
I just start playing a national team as soon as I see the Yana come in. You know, just for Fatherland.
National anthem.
Yeah, national anthem.
Love it.
The helmets. Love it.
All right, well we can sing that later after the broadcast, but for now, Yana is being used for information gathering. WTG has been very uncomfortable this entire game. Unable to find his stride, still at 0 kills, I believe 0 and 8. And I know we don't like to focus on kills too much, but I think it's important to acknowledge what WTG must be feeling right now, and that is frustration. As the support player, or flex support player, I suppose, who's meant to be getting aggressive in these scenarios as the Ying, meant to be having an impact in the executes with the smoke, and only successfully once has the plant gone down for Virtus.Pro. Now this vertical play being engaged, and Virtus.Pro to rotate and start this bakery hold. Lems and Shaiko ready and waiting to receive.
It seems to be a little bit of a repeat as what we've seen the last time around when BDS was defending on this kitchen. Again, you see some presence. They want to take care of Lems, who's playing behind this area, gets frag grenaded out. WTG finds his first one. And exactly as I said, that grenade might be the tool he needs to get that kill on the board, to get that impact, to keep VP alive. Right there, they will be getting that entry. That will also gift them the control of Bakery, and might just be enough to actually force them to go into that 6-5 scoreline. But they first have to deal with Rinshiro, who's holding off to these angles, who's holding off to the actual rotation they would like to go through. And 30 seconds left. They're starting to pressure BDS.
BDS have looked so good at this Plantinal though, and with time ticking away, Playday still with gas canisters in hand. No doubt there's a C4 potentially, and those evil eyes. Ras trying to pressure from above, and Playday, he's taken out. That's so pivotal. That's the gas all gone. A mission to force down this plant. Every single round so far won by the attack has been on the back of a diffuser plant. Can Shaiko deny it? Turns the corner, finishes off Pasha. We're in a retake, but it's all on Shaiko, and he can't make it happen. Virtus.Pro send us all the way to round 12. We're going to need every single round in the tank to finish off this match.
Here we go. We're going to round number 12, Dev, and that means that BDS is being challenged here for the second time in a row right here. Last time they lost out on every single point they could possibly get against Rogue, and now it's looking like VP might be stealing 2 away from them. And that does give the opportunity to Rogue today to overtake them for the lead in the European League. If they manage to win their game today, Rogue, it will be them that's going to be on top. Due to that result they have against BDS, they won against them in a single round robin. They will be on that first place spot. And if they do not drop any more points after that, they will have that first place yet again, as Rogue, known as the kings of the online season, should be playing in an online mini-major after that, and that might give them some good opportunities to score some points for the 6th major. Or invitational.
Yeah, that head-to-head win that Rogue have over BDS could be so pivotal for Rogue come late season, but of course, maybe that's something for the analyst desk later, and for the match that Rogue has later today against Team Secret. But BDS for now are definitely being made to work for their food. So far, what BDS, I mean, I'm going to double check this because I'm pretty sure, what was it, 7-1, 7-1. 7-3, 7-5. So,
5 seconds left.
I mean, it's been a damn sight harder for BDS as the season has gone on. They went 3-7-1 score lines, and then it got a bit harder at 7-3, and then it got a bit harder at a 7-5, and then it got much harder when they finally were taken down by Rogue. Now, this is guaranteed to be at least 1 point on the standings for BDS. The worst they can do here is draw it up, but Virtus.Pro, they're the ones that need to make that happen here, and they need to repeat this successful attack onto the kitchen bomb site. It's all on BDS to hold.
BDS, they need to have that small adaptation in right now. They need to change whatever is necessary to win this bomb site right now, as they have set up yet again. LM's this time playing on that dock right behind this this bakery right here. I think that's a good one, as that allows him to pick himself back up if the grenade doesn't instantly kill him. Also 2 ADSs in there just to make sure that those grenades are not going to be finding any single kill. However, you see the adaptation from WTG. The Ying is back. No more Warden to try and challenge that. The question is, however, how effective are those Candelas going to be in this last very round of this matchup?
I would have thought that the Yana was particularly useful, especially those grenades last time around. But as you mentioned, Lem's trying to counter the grenades with the dock, and well, no counter to the Ying now. Very good time management, though, for Virtus.Pro. This is the fastest map clear they have done this entire game thus far. 1 minute 30 now, just a bit more than that, to find these picks through the floor and prepare for this execute. And it looks like they're going to keep the options open for a late hold, or a late push rather, down Freezer, but Renshiro's got something to say about that. Nade to come out, and that does destroy the Electric Claw. More X-Kairos to be piled on there, and will we see the rotate from Virtus.Pro to go for that Bakery take? Every single attack so far has culminated on Bakery, but they might not have the utility for that now with that X-Kairos wasted.
Yeah, they might not indeed. There's no second hard breach available on the likes of VP, something that BDS did bring. 2 of the stunts being tossed in there, and they will know no one is actually around prep right there, or behind that prep window, as it didn't bounce off immediately. Of course, to the new viewers, there is that little bit of detonation on proximity, but that didn't go off. Shockwave gets the entry onto Renshiro. The last 40 seconds, it's Playday to try to do to Pasha what Pasha did to Shaiko the last time around, but it's going to be Rafal to try and challenge the mission right here, who's hoping to get an impact onto Playday. Shaiko gets a kill to Shockwave. It's a trade to come through. And with the last 25 seconds, it's VP to be forced around. And they will be jumping in right here. Is the Ying to come in, the Candelas to go out, together with a smoke, with a Shaiko to come in. Huge will be shutting him down. And with 50 seconds left, that means the diffuser has been dropped. It's up to Rask, it's up to Pasha. They need to do it together right here. But with the little time they have left, there's no way that Rask will be able to clutch this out. And indeed he will not. It's Shaiko to show up huge in this round. It's Shaiko to show up, win that round, get that final kill, together with Playday that stalled out so long in VIP.
A very, very valiant effort by Virtus.Pro, but BDS recover from their shortfalls last week. Managed to secure that victory here on Cafe. Shaiko, we were talking about him in the first half quite a lot. He didn't do so well. The opening pick twice in the rounds, and he did not seem to step it up, but by the end of it, the MVP, at least post-rehost there. And it looks like what BDS did need, in fact, was Shaiko and Playday to step it up, I guess, there at the end and lock it out against Virtus.Pro. But I've got to say, I've got to commend Virtus.Pro for a very, very valiant effort.
It was definitely a very valiant effort to get so close to get that 1 point to snip 2 away from BDS. But it's going to be BDS that will remain on that top spot of the league today. They almost were harmed, but not just yet. Let's throw it over to Gassan and see what the analysts have to say about it.
Dankjewel, Hap. Thank you so much, James. What a